you guys are gonna meet a really, really great guy. Spencer is gonna talk to you soon. Let's show you what he's all about.
Imagine starting a trash business and making $30,000 in 11 days out in the field. Spencer Scott, your mom's favorite garbage man, did exactly that. From working in software behind the screen to running a garbage business, his life completely changed in a matter of weeks. How he got started, how to generate cash fast, and how to completely de-risk any deal. That's what we're gonna learn today, so you can steal his homework.
Please welcome Spencer Scott.
How's it going? Alrighty. Can you guys hear me? I'm not nervous at all. This definitely isn't my first time speaking ever. So, hello, my name is Spencer Scott, and I'm gonna try and impress you guys today, but at the same time, I do not deserve, you guys are for sure smarter than I am. So I'm gonna walk you through who and why I'm here. So, my name is Spencer Scott. That's my family, wife, kids, and I started a literal trash company. Like, it's trash. And so jumping right into it, you're probably thinking, who is this guy? And I'm thinking the same thing. Cody was like, hey, can you come up here and talk? And I was like, sure, I'll give it my best. So I'm sitting here going through like the speakers, and I'm like, ooh, I might be in the wrong room. We've got literal billionaires like Joe Lonsdale, Jenny, we've got Bill Perkins, and then we've got this guy, Spencer Scott. And I've got this awesome title of CEO of Garbage Truck. I was like, man, marketing team, maybe missed it on that one. I'm Ron Burgundy. So you're probably thinking, why did Cody ask me to speak? And it's super important. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. I should not be allowed to make slides. So 668 days ago, about 22 months ago, I started a trash company called Lone Star Trash from a Facebook post. And with some clever marketing, creative marketing, I'm trying to sound smarter, we got it to about $1 million valuation 668 days ago from today. It says evaluation, okay? So it's up to interpretation, but it is for sale. No, I'm just kidding. We did that with 0 investors, and as you can tell, I'm great with slides, 0 doll hairs out of our pocket, and I'm gonna try and break that down for you. So that's why Cody hit me up and she goes, hey, Spencer, can you tell your story? She sent me that. I didn't put that on my face. So today I want to break down how I started with no money, how we steal equipment, how we print money legally, right? By the way, imagine this is like a Twitter speech, like I'm trying to go for the, the cliff notes here. How we do M&A with a crayon, and how I'm 6'8" and not in the NBA. So let's jump in. So about 2023, mid-2023, I took this picture when one day our trash was not picked up, and probably like you guys, who cares? I'm not a big trash guy, and didn't think much of it. Then my wife started complaining because the price went up, but our trash wasn't getting picked up. So I was like, all right, let's do some research. Turns out, private equity company called Cards had bought our local trash hauler, and say it with me, the service went to crap. Boo, yeah, boo. By the way, I kind of want to be a private equity, but anyways. So I'm just saying private equity people here, give me a call, we love you. And so I live in a neighborhood with about 400 houses. Some quick math, and I remember turning to Haley, my wife, and I remember being like, the meatloaf. No, I'm just kidding. I said, what do we pay for trash? And she goes, it's about $50 a month if we do recycling. Quick math, and you're like, okay, 400 houses, $50, that's $250,000 a year, good for them, you know? Didn't think too much past that. Obviously, I'm laying in bed, I'm like, $250,000 a year, I mean, that's a lot of money. I'd like $250,000 a year. Then I started thinking more. I'm like, wait a second. They only pick our house up on 1 day a week, every week. Started thinking a little bit more, and I'm like, they're doing $250,000 in 52 days out of the year. I want that. So, like a lot of you, I probably thought, how hard could it be? Famous last words, by the way. Don't think that. And so I started thinking, like, how could I do this? And I remember this clip on the internet that I saw. This is a super old clip. of this guy, don't know his name, pitching Tim Ferriss and Noah Kagan on how to sell a disposable toothbrush. He was starting a disposable toothbrush company. It's kind of like an irrelevant video on the internet, but what was interesting is Noah Kagan, the guy on the left, they weren't impressed with his pitch. They ended up grabbing the toothbrush and they go, this is a nice toothbrush. He goes, how much do you need to start this company? And the guy goes, probably $5,000. Noah asked Tim if he would buy the toothbrush for $50, to which Tim said yes. And then it was a live feed, kind of like Twitch or whatever those live streaming services are. And Noah turned to the camera and said, if you want this toothbrush, PayPal this guy right now, $50, and you'll be added to his list to make the toothbrushes. Ended up making $5,000 in like 3 minutes. And I remember watching that video like, that's genius. That's a toothbrush. But then it proved like market validation. So Noah ended up going on and talking about market validation, asking people. When you ask people, a lot of people just automatically say yes. And he said, you don't really have true market validation until you can get the money out of the pocket. And so I penciled that one down in the back of the brain, started thinking about how I'd start this trash company, and I'm like, all right, how much money do I need? I'll be honest with you, didn't do that much research. And started thinking about how I could pitch this. I remember this bearded guy we probably all know. And the title of his book was, didn't open the book, be honest with you, not the greatest reader, but How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No. Led me back to this Facebook post where I posted on Facebook and said, hey, I'm starting a trash company. I'm about to click through a couple slides where I definitely made the post too long. But with that being said, I wanted to show it all, but then I'm like, there's no one's reading this. Anyways, the post more or less says, like, I want to start a trash company. There's 400 people in this neighborhood. If I can get 200 to sign up, I'll buy a garbage truck and start a trash company. If I don't get 200, then I won't do it, right? And then the other part of this was I needed enough money where it was possible. So instead of just billing 1 month at a time, I said we'll bill 3 months at a time, and it'll be $105. So I need 200 people to sign up at $105, and it was going to be a subscription, which, we ended up posting that, and then it finished it with like worst case scenario. If we don't hit the 200, I'll refund the money. Going back to Alex Hormozy's like, why wouldn't you say no to it? And you're out nothing. A really worst case scenario, I start it and fail, you can always go back to the other guys. So that post ended up getting about 139 comments, and I was like, here we go, we're in business, I'm a garbage man. Haley, I've been telling you my whole life I wanted to be a garbage man. I went to college to be a garbage man. And so now you're probably thinking, how? Like what's the next steps from here? You got a bunch of engagement. Your neighborhood is gonna think you're an a-hole if you don't start the trash company. They all read it, or at least that's how I felt. And so I started thinking about some of the stuff I'd seen before. Tim Ferriss has a blog article about how Harry's Razors got 100,000 emails in like 7 days or something like that. And I remember it said code. Little thing you probably don't know, I own 2 software companies, but I'm a sales guy. I do not know how to code. It took me to a GitHub page to which I hit up my developer in Pakistan, Umar, and I said, Umar, how hard would it be for us to rip off Harry's Razors? 24 hours later, I had the Harry's Razors landing page. Now I know what you're thinking, Spencer, you changed it up for sure. This is Harry's Razors. This is Lone Star Trash. No infringement at all. Here's their other landing page. Here's our landing page. Thank you, ChatGPT, for the extremely handsome garbage man. And this crushed. So as you can see, basically what we did was any customer that you referred to us, we would give you a free month of service. This has changed quite a bit over the years, but with enough referrals, we'd give you a free year of trash. And now this was a part of our sign-up flow. So like you actually saw this before you saw our transaction page, which was a Stripe transaction page. Now again, I don't know how to code, so I'm gonna fly you through this next part, but Webflow, website builder, I'm like, oh man, I need a website really fast because I got that landing page, has a template page where they have something called home services. Big brain over here, right? Very first one, which is embarrassing, says handyman. Now I know what you're thinking. Spencer, you for sure changed this up. Nope. This is our website still to this day. And we have people sign up with us and they're like, we liked your website better, it seemed less trashy. I'm like, gotcha. And so this awesome template comes with like 500 landing pages. So I went back to my Facebook group and said, we are now live. If you want to sign up for this amazing new trash company with a really handsome CEO of garbage company or garbage truck, click here. And it took off. So people started signing up left and right. What was really funny is people started sharing in the group. So like the page just got flooded with like people's links to like, no, click my link, because they wanted free trash service. In 3 days, we raised like $12,000. Everything was pointed to this landing page. You guys are giving me too much credit. That's how it went down. Anyways, we pushed everyone to this landing page. That was kind of our generic pricing, which took you to a checkout page, which was through Stripe. And then obviously you would sign up. And so in the first 15 days of like the Facebook post, we had 150 customers. We had $15,000 cash in the bank account. We had $5,000 in monthly recurring revenue and $60,000 ARR. For people who are good at math, I use the calculator. And now it's November 15th. Mistakes were made. I promised people I would start the trash company on January 1st. So those of you doing math, I have 45 days to somehow create an LLC, buy a garbage truck, buy bins, and our pets' heads were falling off. I was dying. And to make things more, spicy, this is my wife with my 4-year-old son, Trip. I have 3 boys, and she was 8 months pregnant, due in December. And we had to start picking up on January 1st. So things got interesting, right? I had to go to work and get creative. So I did what everyone in here would do, turned to Facebook Marketplace. Typed in garbage truck near me, right? I told you guys, big brain over here, man. Found that actual garbage truck. So that's the listing. When I was searching for, aluminum dinosaurs, I had to switch it up, go to the garbage truck. This is the actual garbage truck posted in this Facebook group, which led to this, me sending a $20,000 wire to a random guy I've never met in a Facebook group for a garbage truck that I've never seen. Now this is the part where people are like, that's where you lost me. And I would agree with that, except I don't know shit. I can't spell diesel. Like, if I drive out there, I'm gonna look at it like, looks like a garbage truck. Smells like a garbage truck. Like, what? I mean, I'm part of that's humor, but part of it's like, I have no clue. Yeah, it turns on. So he sent me some videos, seemed like a trustworthy guy, and I sent him the wire. And now, for those of you who are paying attention, you're like, this guy lied to me. He said doll hairs. Gotcha. No, where did I get the $20,000? You'll love this. Ever got one of these emails from Amex? I tell you what, that platinum card pays dividends. And I'm a sucker for good copywriting, so click, did that. 2 hours later, and I'm not making this up, I had a personal loan, bam, $35,000, the exact amount of the truck, if I do say so myself, for a payment of $701 a month. And so I'm like, we're in business, baby. So truck lockdown. Bins, again, big brain, type in wholesale garbage bins. Turns out that's not like a search term that people go after. This led me nowhere. So starting to panic, I go back to my original post and I remember the garbage bins. Just like shoes or anything, they put who made it on the garbage can. So for those of you people who are dying to know where your garbage can came from, it's on there. Found a company in Michigan called Cascade, called them, said, need garbage bins, need them in 45 days. They said, ha, no way, that's happening. So I said, well, where do I buy them? They gave me this amazing company, which you can tell that this company prints money based on their website. Guess what? They buy garbage cans from companies who either sold to private equity or went under. And let me tell you, they're gorgeous. So say I go, hey, you got garbage bins? He goes, yeah, I got garbage bins. And this company called Alchin sold in Michigan. Clearly, they kept them on a dirt road. And so I said, I need all of them you got. He goes, no problem. Sends me this amazing quote for 196 at about $9,000. I said, let's do it. For those of you who have been following our awesome math journey, I started with $15,000 in the account. Amex made me pay the first payment, which stunk. So $700 down. We're down to 14, and then $8,000 for the bins. So I have about $5,000 left to actually operate this trash company. And this is where things get interesting. I was like writing this and like was like buying in, like this guy's an idiot. And so, anyways, we spent the $9,000. We have 17 days to the first pickup, and I have nothing. Like no bins, no garbage trucks, everything was out of state, and I'm definitely maybe pooping my pants a little bit. And so if you remember the 668 days, 22 months ago, well, this is what that looked like if it was a human being. So 600 days ago from now, my son Bo was born, my third son. And I remember this day not only because he was born, but because if you remember from earlier where I sent $20,000, you also saw the truck was, if you paid super close attention, I'm talking pretty fast, you saw the truck was listed for 35, and smooth negotiator that I am said, I don't negotiate, I'll pay you the $35,000. I wish I would have been here for that speech before. Really missed the boat on that one. And I told him I would send him the remainder of the money when he sends me a picture of the truck on the trailer, right? I don't want to lose all of it. Good thing I could save that $15,000. And then so in the hospital, he sends me this. So from the hospital room, I got to send $15,000. My wife loved that. Hold on. I got to send this. And then another shocking piece of information, garbage trucks move fast across the United States. So I had to throw Bo in the car seat, and we had to head home. When it's your third child, no one's trying to stay at the hotel, so we got in and out of there, got home, and unfortunately, my wife, in the condition she was in, couldn't drive me to go get our garbage truck. So it had been delivered while we were in the hospital, and the guy was waiting for us to come get it off the trailer, so of course I had to call 84-year-old neighbor Bill. I said, hey, Bill. I said, what do you think about an adventure? He goes, what's up? I said, you want to go get a garbage truck? And he's like, heck yeah, let's do it. So you can see he's got his Crocs in sport mode, and we left. And so, oh shoot. So we packed it up. I drove it back to our brand new warehouse, which was my front yard. HOA loved that. And so now I know what you're probably thinking, bins? We got them. Had those shipped to my warehouse. HOA, again, double loved that. And now we have 7 days before the first pickup. The problem with this photo is 7 days before the pickup, and they're in my driveway, not in front of people's houses. So we had to go to work. Real interesting unloading like a shipping truck full of 200 garbage bins at your house. Also, they did not clean them. So we were all through Christmas basically spraying garbage bins. And then look at that. Neighbor Bill shows back up to help my two boys load the wheels onto the garbage bins because they came stacked. So what happened next was kind of interesting. Sam Parr's a buddy of mine. I was in his entrepreneurship group. He posted about this on his podcast called My First Million. It went kind of viral. A couple followers happened through that. That's when Cody showed up. We did like 1.6 million from that, and it just created this crazy snowball effect. A company called Onbox Media reached out and said, hey, can we do your branding? Which you might be thinking, why do you need branding? Well, they got totally harassed for having bad branding. High standards for a trash company. So Onbox reaches out, they do our branding. Next thing you know, we're in the merch game. And so we have a website where we actually sell merch, like thousands of dollars worth of merch apparently. And then it just started taking off. Like merch was being shipped all over the United States. People were loving the story. This is a guy from the trash industry who flew in to do a day as a garbage man. That's my neighbor. I mean, everyone was in on this. That's my wife. She drove the truck for 3 minutes so we could get a picture. Local school district came and we did interviews for that. More merch, more merch. And then Cody showed up and we were off to the races. So now you're probably thinking, what happened next? Well, we started picking up trash, basically. And so for the first 8 months, I was driving the truck, and you're probably thinking, that's a long time. I was doing it 1 day a week, and I would be done in about 8 hours, and then I would go and do software, which, by the way, software is like emails and arthritis, so it's not too bad. And so after about 8 months, we hired our first driver, and then we bought a second truck, and in tradition, we brought neighbor Bill. So we've grown and grown and grown. We bought a second truck. That's my son Oliver in that picture. And then we put that one at the warehouse for a bit. And then we hired our second driver. So now I got 2 trucks. And then we got a third truck. And it just grew and grew and grew. So now you're probably thinking, how did you buy this truck? You said that no money was out of your pocket. I can't wait to tell you. This is our first truck. Obviously, remember that one, $35,000, $700 a month. No money out of pocket because it was a personal loan. The second truck, so if you're following along, we bill 3 months at a time, and when you sign up hundreds of people in 3-month increments, that means you're getting a big hit every 3 months. So we got a huge hit 1 month and bought the second truck from Government Deals for $24,000, and we paid cash for it, which kind of hurt. Okay, it really hurt. But it turns out financing a trash company when you haven't even been in business for a year is challenging. Paid cash for that one. We were off to the races. Third truck here is our Mac Daddy truck. And this is my secret for you. We bought this at a city municipality auction that was in person only. And basically what happens at these municipality auctions is every 5 years they turn over their equipment because the warranty ends. So they're not trying to maintain it past warranty. They don't have the staff for that. And this is something I've learned through just the hard way. And so we show up at this auction. That's about a $200,000 truck. And not a lot of people trying to buy garbage trucks, turns out. So we bought this garbage truck for $60,000. Another thing I would tell you, I had to learn this the hard way, was we financed it. And I showed up and won the auction. And they're like, where's the cash? And I'm like, I'll get back with you. Called my finance guy. It took him a week to send him the cash, and then we went and picked up the truck. And so today we have 3 trucks. We've paid about $119,000, a lot of that financed, but we've bought so low that all of our trucks appreciated, which is something that you have to do when you get them insured for way too much. They do an appraisal if there's a total loss, and so we're kicking butt on buying garbage trucks. Now you might be thinking, how did you grow? This landing page. So what we did was we point everyone to this landing page, and we kind of went bonkers. So if you remember, I'm a software guy. Again, I don't know anything that much about software, but we did launch 4,000 landing pages. Trash near me, garbage near me, trash pickup near me. They didn't all get picked up, but a lot of them did. And so we started ranking in Google. And then a big winner for us has been Facebook ads. So I'll tell you this, everyone quits on Facebook ads. I had a kid tell me not to quit on Facebook ads, to give it a week and spend $300 a week for those ads. And I did that, and then at the end of that week, and burning what felt like an insane amount of money, the ads started hitting, and now today, our Facebook ads combined with the retargeting, we can get customers in at about $35, and then they pay the 3 months. So they pay $105. So we actually we make money advertising to the customers. And so you might be thinking, Spencer, why aren't you bigger? Well, sourcing the bins is still really difficult, and then getting them delivered. So we're obviously ramping up our Facebook ads. From there, the referral program is probably the cheapest way for us to get new ads. Everyone who comes in gets the opportunity to refer friends. Every week we send an email being like, hey, you want free trash? Refer a friend. And so that works great for us. All of this is pointed at the same landing page. And I would tell anyone in here to stop sleeping on the Google reviews. I hated this. I kind of saw this as like a blackmail opportunity from people. But we did it, the Google, I think it's called a My Business page, and it started outranking our 4,000 landing pages. So that took off for us. And then last but not least, our bins, through our marketing company, generate a ton of like our referrals, because it's like putting little billboards out in front of people's houses. Now, we just went with black bins and our traditional logo there, but it kills for us. And then we bought the phone number 517 garbage, so it's easier to remember. And what happens in these neighborhoods is you get one, get two, get a couple neighbors, and then it's almost like a herd mentality, like, hey, I don't want to be left behind. And so people just started rolling in on the bins. And at any given month, we sign up between 75 and 100 new customers for our trash service, and then they pay 3 months in advance. So today, again, we're not that old. We haven't hit 2 years yet. We're probably, before I took the screenshot, we're probably at like 1,500 customers. Again, add 75 to 100 a month, 550K ARR, 45 MRR. You guys can kind of read it. Expect 130 of that to be profit. Turns out when you buy garbage trucks, you can depreciate the whole thing up front, so that's kind of nice. Looks like I'll be buying a garbage truck every year for the infinity. So what's next for Lone Star? We are, remember how I mentioned, trying to buy with crayons. I don't know M&A. Probably should have came to this before I started negotiating with people. I have bought one software company. And so we started negotiating with some of our local vendors, our local competitors who are our same size or smaller, to roll them up into our business. And what's interesting about these local trash companies is they're heavy debt on the equipment. And so what we can do with that is refinance that, either an SBA loan, and then drag that price down, that monthly expense down, which makes it more profitable, or we can just refinance it with our equipment vendors, because they'll still take it as an asset if we stop paying. So the equipment is actually a little easier to finance. The tricky part is going back to the speech before mine, which is like getting over the negotiation tactic of like the mental model of what somebody thinks the trash company is worth. For us, I told him, it's like, listen, it's me and you versus the bank. Like, I'll give you as much money as I can where the bank will allow it, right? And so that's kind of the negotiation we've been taking, and he's open to a little bit of owner financing. So fingers crossed, if we can roll them up, we should be able to finish the year at about 1.1, 1.2 ARR this year. So takes that evaluation up a little bit higher. And let's see. If it works, we'll be in a good place. My plan for the next 5 years is to grow it to about 20 million ARR. I think that's extremely doable, because if we get big enough where we can get just even a hint of respect, maybe I'm not the sales guy for that. We can win some city contracts, and the city contracts start at like 5 mil to 20 mil. So like the city of McKinney, which is a little up north in Dallas, I think theirs is like 20 mil a year. And so it just got won by Frontier. Every 3 to 5 years, those contracts come up, and they want a competitive bid. And I've been told that they like the local guys. So fingers crossed on that. So we're starting to put together a CRM to track, which contracts are coming up, which ones we can win. And that's it. We're growing Lone Star Trash to what it is today. And here's the family. And we're off to the races. We keep trying to make new garbage men. Got to keep that. No, we don't want to put a girl in the garbage truck, so we've been keeping it all boys. No, so in this picture, that's obviously, we have Haley, my wife, and then Oliver, Trip, and Bo. And those are the ones at the bottom. And we just took family photos, so I was like, throw it in the slide. This will be perfect. And that's how we started Lone Star Trash.
That was amazing.
Thanks.
I loved all of it. Give it up for Spencer Scott right now. Thank you so much.